The galaxy was not a place of kindness. It was full of laws, rules, and councils that decided which species could rise and which must remain weak. Humans had earned a place at the table of the Galactic Council after years of struggle, but they were not trusted. They were seen as too young, too ambitious, too dangerous. The Council's decree was clear. Humanity was forbidden from building true warships. Small patrol craft? Yes. Escort frigates for cargo? Yes, but nothing more. No massive cruisers, no dreadnoughts, no ships with the power to challenge alien empires. For the Council, it was simple. If humans built such ships, war would spread like fire. For humanity, it was humiliation. They had fought for survival during the early years of First Contact. They had defended colonies against pirates and raiders with outdated ships. They had proven their will to live, yet the Council treated them like children who must never touch a weapon. Admiral Marcus Hale stood at the window of the orbital station above Earth. His gray eyes watched the stars with quiet anger. He remembered the vote in the council chamber. Alien voices, one after another, declaring that humanity could not be trusted. He remembered the smug looks of the powerful races, the Zorath with their endless fleets, the Vayari with their giant carriers, the Tyrell with their living bioships. All of them had nodded in agreement. Humanity must never build warships. But Marcus knew one truth. Humanity would never be safe if they obeyed. The galaxy respected strength, and without strength, Earth would always be at risk. On the ground, deep beneath the mountains of Mars, hidden from the Council's scanners, the first secret shipyard was alive with activity. Engineers worked day and night. Men and women wore welding masks. Sparks lit the cavern like stars. They were building something the Council had forbidden, something that would change history. Dr. Alara Voss, chief engineer of the project, moved across the scaffolding with a datapad in hand. Her black hair was tied back, her face marked with determination. "The Council thinks we are weak," she said to her team. "They believe humans will bow forever, but we will prove them wrong." Around her, the skeleton of a massive ship rose from the rock, its frame stretching higher than any human vessel ever built. It was a warship, not just in name but in every design. Thick armor plating, hidden energy cores, weapon mounts that even the alien fleets would fear. The project was called Project Aegis. Its purpose was simple, to give humanity one chance against a galaxy that wanted them helpless. But secrecy was dangerous. Already rumors spread in the colonies. Whispers of strange shipments vanishing into the asteroid belts, of scientists leaving Earth without explanation. Some believed humanity was hiding something, and spies were everywhere. One such spy sat in a crowded bar on Ceres Station. He looked human, but his eyes glowed faintly blue, a mark of Vayari genetic design. He listened carefully as miners talked. "They say the government is hiding ships out there," one miner whispered. "Ships bigger than anything we've ever built." The spy smiled. He would report this to his masters. The Council would not forgive such defiance. Back on Mars, Admiral Hale arrived at the hidden facility. His boots echoed on the steel floor as he walked into the cavern. He looked up at the unfinished warship, his heart heavy yet proud. "It is beautiful," he said softly. Dr. Voss joined him. "It is dangerous," she replied. "If the Council finds out, they will come for us. They will destroy everything." Marcus nodded. "That is why we must be ready before they know. Humanity has no choice. We cannot depend on alien mercy. We must make our own she." The engineers continued their work, children of Earth and Mars, young and old, united by the dream of freedom. Every strike of a hammer, every spark of welding light was an act of defiance. They knew they were breaking the law of the galaxy, but they also knew they were building hope. In the quiet of the cavern, the warship's frame seemed to breathe, as if alive, as if it too knew it was destined for something greater. Far across the stars, the council chamber was filled with light and sound. Alien leaders debated trade routes, border disputes, and pirate raids. None of them knew the humans were preparing something in the dark. None of them realized the balance of power was about to shift, but one thing was certain. The day would come when the hidden warship rose from the shadows and the galaxy would never look at humanity the same way again. The hidden shipyard was alive like a secret heart of humanity. Deep beneath Mars and scattered across asteroids, thousands of workers moved in silence. Every torch of fire, every spark of steel, was a whisper against the Council's law. They were building warships, not one, but many. Dr. Alara Voss stood on the upper platform, her datapad glowing in the dim light. She watched her engineers welding armor plating, connecting power cores, installing weapons systems the Council swore humans must never touch. The cavern trembled with the hum of engines being tested. They said we are weak, she told herself, but weakness is a choice, and we choose strength. Admiral Marcus Hale entered, his uniform hidden under a plain worker's coat. He walked with heavy steps. He had seen wars. He had lost men to pirates, to alien raiders, to arrogance from the Council who always came too late. Now he looked upon the unfinished warship like a father staring at a forbidden child. How long until it can fly, he asked. 6 months if we are lucky, Voss replied, but every day increases the risk of discovery. And she was right. Already the whispers had spread. Already spies had taken notice. In the shadows of the colonies, deals were being made, secrets traded for gold and influence. On Ceres Station, the Vayari spy sent his encrypted report. His message reached the Council, and though they had no proof, suspicion grew. The Zorath warlords argued in the chamber. Humans are ambitious, one hissed. If they defy us, they must be punished before their spark becomes fire. The Terrell delegate tilted his insect-like head. If they are building warships, we will burn their shipyards to ash. But the Council could not move without proof. For now they watched, waiting for a mistake. Back in the secret shipyard, mistakes were beginning to show. Resources were stretched thin. Food shipments had to be rerouted secretly. Fuel cells vanished from civilian depots, people noticed, workers whispered, and among the workers not all were loyal. Late one night, a young technician slipped into the communication hub. His hands shook as he inserted a hidden device into the relay console. He whispered into the darkness, "Forgive me, but I must survive." His eyes flickered blue. Vayari implants glowing. He was the traitor. The next day, Admiral Hale noticed unusual delays in shipments. "We are being watched," he muttered. He ordered tighter security, doubled the guards, and restricted access. But the seeds of danger had already been planted. Dr. Voss worked tirelessly, her team exhausted. Some collapsed from overwork, others argued, "Why are we risking our lives?" One shouted, "If the Council finds us, they will kill us all." Voss silenced them with steel in her voice. "If we do nothing, they will kill us anyway," she said. "Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but when the pirates come, when the empires grow hungry, who will save us then? The Council? No, only we can save ourselves." Her words reignited their spirit. The tower hammer struck harder, the welders burned brighter, the dream of freedom outweighed the fear of punishment. In orbit above Titan, far from Mars, another secret yard was nearly complete. Here, engineers worked on a smaller prototype, a cruiser designed for speed and stealth. Its captain, Commander Lyra Dane, was chosen in silence. She had fought pirates with nothing but an old patrol ship and sheer will. She was young, fierce, and unyielding. She walked through her vessel's unfinished halls with pride, whispering, "They call us forbidden. Let them. We will show them what humanity can do." But fate moved quickly. The traitor's signal reached the Council fleet orbiting near the Zorath core worlds. Within days, scout ships were dispatched to the human colonies, cloaked, silent, searching. On Mars, Admiral Hale stood before the towering warship frame. "We are running out of time," he said to Voss. "If the Council discovers us before we are ready, they will destroy everything." Voss looked at him with fire in her eyes. "Then we will not wait," she said. "We will finish faster. We will push harder. Humanity has no more time to beg. The shadows will protect us until we are strong enough to stand in the light." The cavern roared with the sound of engines igniting for the first time, a deep, thunderous pulse that shook the rock. Workers stopped, eyes wide, hearts racing. For the first time they felt it, not just a machine, but a promise, a heartbeat of defiance. Far away in the dark, the Council scouts caught the faint ripple of energy, a whisper on their sensors. They turned toward Mars with quiet hunger, and thus the shadows grew thinner. The secret was close to being revealed. Humanity was racing against time, against spies, against the galaxy itself. But in that race, they were forging something unbreakable, something that would one day shake the stars. The warship stood like a sleeping giant inside the Martian cavern. Its dark frame stretched higher than any human vessel. Before it, armor plating glistened under the work lights. Weapons waited silent, hidden under steel. The ship was unfinished, but it was alive. Admiral Marcus Hale walked slowly across the gantry. His boots echoed as he looked down at the massive hull. His heart carried both pride and fear. Pride because humanity had done the impossible. Fear because he knew the Council would never forgive them. Dr. Alara Voss stood beside him, eyes glowing with tired determination. "It is almost ready," she whispered. "Engines aligned, power cores stable. We can test the heart of the ship." Marcus nodded, then let it awaken. All across the cavern, engineers scrambled to stations, lights flickered, alarms chimed. Thick cables carried power into the warship. The ground trembled as the first core came online. A deep hum filled the air, like a pulse, steady and strong. The workers stared in awe. Some dropped their tools, some pressed their hands to their chests. For the first time they felt it, the heartbeat of humanity's defiance. Dr. Voss smiled faintly. "Project Aegis breathes," she said. But outside the cavern, shadows were closing in. The Vayari spies' message had reached the Council. Their scouts, silent and invisible, drifted closer to the human colonies, searching for proof. Their orders were clear. If warships existed, they would be destroyed, and humanity punished. Commander Lyra Dane watched from Titan's orbit as her prototype cruiser powered its engines. The smaller vessel, named Resolve, shivered as its core burned bright. Lyra gripped the command chair. "Hold steady," she ordered. Her crew was young, nervous but loyal. They knew what this meant. "This is not just a ship," Lyra whispered. "This is our right to survive." Back on Mars, Admiral Hale stepped onto the bridge of the great warship. Though half the systems were still untested, the bridge was dark. Consoles glowing faintly blue, he rested a hand on the captain's chair. "When this ship launches, the galaxy will change," he said. Dr. Voss entered behind him. "Then we must be ready because the galaxy will not forgive us." Alarms suddenly rang through the cavern. Security officers rushed in. "Admiral, a transmission was detected leaving the colony," one reported. "Encrypted, alien in origin." Marcus's face hardened. "The traitor," he said coldly. "They know." For a moment, silence filled the bridge. The weight of doom pressed down. The Council would send fleets larger than anything humanity had. But Dr. Voss's voice cut through the fear. "Then we finish this ship before they arrive. We will not surrender. If they come, they will see what humans can build." Outside, the massive blast doors opened slowly, revealing the night sky above Mars. The ship's engines roared, sending shockwaves through the cavern. Dust and fire erupted as the warship lifted slightly from its cradle. The sound thundered across the underground city. Children covered their ears. Workers cheered. Some wept openly. They were watching history. Admiral Hale stood at the center of the bridge. "This is no longer a secret," he said. "This is a declaration." Far across the void, Council scouts caught the surge of energy. Their sensors lit up with data. One commander sneered, "Fools, they have broken the law. Prepare the report. The humans will be crushed." But the scouts did not leave immediately. They lingered, watching the newborn warship rise. For even alien eyes could see the beauty of human defiance. On Earth, hidden leaders argued in silence. Some begged to stop the project before punishment arrived. Others demanded the warship be used to protect the colonies. In the end, only one truth remained. There was no turning back. Dr. Voss looked at the glowing consoles, her face lit by the ship's light. "It is awake now," she whispered, "and nothing in the galaxy can put it back to sleep." The warship set. It led back into its cradle, its first awakening complete. Its engines burned with the promise of power. Its shadow stretched long across the cavern walls. To some it was hope, to others it was doom. And above Mars, hidden in the blackness of space, the Council's scouts turned away, racing to deliver their report. A storm was coming, one that would decide if humanity lived free or died in chains. The Council did not move quickly, but others did. Rumors of human warships had reached the ears of predators. For the alien empires that despised Earth, this was their chance. Far beyond Mars, the Krell Dominion prepared its fleets. The Krell were brutal conquerors, armored like living tanks. For years they had waited for weakness. Now they had an excuse. They would strike before humans finished their forbidden project. Their target was the colony of New Carthage, a thriving world at the edge of human space. Families lived there, farmers and workers, children running under artificial suns. They had no defenses, no warships, only old patrol craft that could never face the Krell. When the Krell fleet arrived, the sky burned, massive cruisers descended, their weapons lighting the horizon. Cities shook, sirens screamed. The colony sent desperate calls for help, but who could answer? The council would not. They were already debating punishments for humanity's defiance. On Mars, Admiral Marcus Hale received the transmission. His jaw tightened as the desperate voices echoed through the chamber. New Carthage is under attack. We are dying. Please, someone help us. Around him, Earth's leaders argued. Some demanded silence. If we reveal our warship now, the Council will know. Others demanded action. If we do nothing, millions will die. Marcus stood tall, his voice cutting through the fear. There is no choice, he said. We built these ships to protect humanity. If we hide them now, then all this was for nothing. Dr. Alara Voss stepped forward, her face pale, but her voice strong. The Aegis is not finished, she warned. Its systems are untested, its weapons incomplete. Marcus turned to her, eyes burning with resolve. Then it will finish itself in fire. The chamber fell silent. Everyone knew what this meant. Humanity's secret would be revealed. The galaxy would turn its eyes on Earth. But if they waited, New Carthage would burn. Within hours, the cavern roared to life. The great warship Aegis powered its engines, shaking the ground as it rose from its cradle. Workers and soldiers watched with tears and cheers. They were watching history step into the stars. Crew ready, voices echoed across the bridge. Weapons charged, engines hot, navigation set. Admiral Hale sat in the captain's chair for the first time. The ship's systems glowed around him, a storm of power at his fingertips. Set course for New Carthage, he ordered. We will not let our people die. The Aegis launched into the void, engines burning brighter than suns. Meanwhile, Commander Lyra Dane's prototype cruiser Resolve was already moving, smaller and faster. It jumped ahead of the Aegis, a spear racing toward the battlefield. On her bridge, Lyra stood with fists clenched. If the Krell want blood, they will taste ours first, she growled. At New Carthage, the colony was dying. Buildings collapsed, families fled, ships burned in orbit. The Krell commander laughed in his armored throne. So fragile, he hissed, so weak. Then his sensors screamed. A new contact, a ship larger than any human craft, its energy signature unlike anything seen before. The Aegis arrived. The void shook as the warship appeared, its dark hull gleaming, weapons charging. Its presence was a roar of defiance against the galaxy. Open fire, Marcus ordered. The Aegis unleashed its fury. Beams of light tore across the Krell fleet. Missiles streaked, cannons thundered, enemy ships cracked and burned. The sky of New Carthage lit like dawn. Commander Lyra's resolve darted among the enemy, striking swift and hard. Her crew fought with fire in their veins. They had nothing to lose and everything to prove. But the Krell did not fall easily. Their cruisers turned, weapons blazing. The Aegis shuddered under the storm, alarms blaring, shields failing, voices cried. Sparks rained down across the bridge. Marcus gripped the chair, refusing to falter. Hold steady, he roared. This is what we were built for. Dr. Voss worked at her console, hands flying. Redirecting power, she shouted. Focusing the core. The warship's engines flared brighter. Weapons surged stronger. One by one, the Krell ships fell, torn apart by human fire. The colony watched from the ground, children pointing at the sky as the impossible happened. Humanity's forbidden warship was saving them. At last, the Krell commander snarled, his fleet shattered. He ordered retreat, his pride burned, but his fear was stronger. They had underestimated the humans, and now the galaxy would know. Silence filled the bridge of the Aegis, smoke rising from broken panels. The crew sat in shock, breathing hard. They had survived. They had won. Admiral Hale rose slowly, his voice heavy with both pride and dread. The secret is gone, he said. The galaxy will come for us now. Dr. Voss looked at the ruined battlefield, at the thousands of lives saved. Then let them come, she whispered. because humanity has awakened. Aegis had entered battle and crushed the Krell. Colonies whispered with pride, alien empires whispered with fear, and the Council whispered with rage. On Mars, the shipyard workers cheered, but their cheers carried a shadow. Everyone knew what would come next. The Council would not forgive. Humanity had broken the law of the stars. Admiral Marcus Hale stood on the bridge of the Aegis. As his reports poured in, his crew worked around him, their faces pale but proud. They had saved New Carthage, but the cost had been heavy. Over 40% of the systems were damaged, dozens of crew injured. The warship had bled on its first day. Dr. Alara Voss moved quickly from console to console, hands covered in grease and sparks burning her coat. "We can repair most systems," she said, "but we need time, and time is the one thing we do not have." She was right. Already sensors showed new signatures moving in the void, larger fleets, heavier ships. They were not pirates or raiders, they were Council warships sent to bring humanity to its knees. On Titan, Commander Lyra Dane prepared her cruiser, Resolve. Her crew worked in silence, eyes locked with grim determination. They knew they were outnumbered. They knew the Council fleets dwarfed their strength. But Lyra only smiled, fierce and unbroken. "We are not fighting for survival," she told them. "We are fighting for respect." In orbit above New Carthage, the sky darkened as dozens of alien ships arrived. Zorath cruisers with jagged black armor, Vayari carriers glowing with energy, Tyrell bioships drifting like nightmares. Together they formed a wall of death. The Council had come. Admiral Hale stood at the front of the bridge, his eyes locked on the endless fleet. His crew waited in silence, some whispering prayers, others gripping their stations until their knuckles turned white. "We knew this day would come," he said. "Now we show them who we are." The first wave struck. Zorath cannons roared, beams slicing through the void. The Aegis shuddered under the assault, alarms blaring. "Shields at 60%, cried a technician. Sparks exploded across the bridge. Marcus gripped the armrest. "Return fire." The Aegis thundered back. Beams of light carved into enemy cruisers. Missiles streaked, detonating in brilliant bursts. The void became fire. The Krell attack had been brutal, but this was worse. This was war. Commander Lyra's resolve darted among the giants, striking weak points, cutting supply craft. Her ship was a blade of lightning against the storm. She shouted orders with unshakable fury. "Keep moving. Hit them where they bleed." But the Council fleets were vast. More ships poured from hyperspace. Their commanders sneered. "The humans think themselves strong," one hissed. "We will show them despair." Inside the Aegis, Dr. Voss worked frantically. "The core is overloading," she warned. "If we push it further, it could tear itself apart." Marcus's voice was calm but iron. "Then let it burn. Better we burn in battle than crawl in chains." The Aegis unleashed its fury. A wave of energy surged from its cannons, tearing through a line of Vayari frigates. The blast lit the void like a second sun. Dozens of ships crumbled, fire spreading through the fleet. For a heartbeat, silence fell. Even the alien commanders hesitated. For the first time, they saw the truth. Humanity had built not just a warship, but a weapon of legend. Then the storm returned. Enemy fire rained down. The Aegis shook violently, consoles exploding, crew thrown to the ground. Hull breach on deck 7. Voices cried, fire spreading, casualties rising. Still, no one fled, no one broke. The crew fought like demons, every hand steady, every heart burning. They were no longer just humans, they were defenders of Earth, bearers of the forbidden fire. Lyra's resolve slammed into the flank of a Tyrell bioship, unloading everything it had. The alien creature screamed as its organic hull split apart. Lyra grinned through blood on her lips. "One down," she hissed, "many to go." But numbers told their story. More Council ships closed in, 1,000 guns aimed at the Aegis. The warship stood tall, but even legends could fall. Admiral Hale rose from his chair, smoke swirling around him. "Listen to me," he said to his crew, his voice clear and unshaw. "Ken, we are humanity's first warship. We are the shield they tried to deny us. Today we show the galaxy that humans will not bow, not break, not beg." The crew roared back, their voices shaking the air. "For Earth, for humanity." The Aegis surged forward, engines blazing, straight into the heart of the Council fleet. The Aegis burned through the void like a wounded beast. Its armor was scorched, entire decks torn apart. Fire still raged inside, yet it did not fall. Its guns thundered again and again, ripping through alien cruisers that swarmed like wolves. Commander Lyra Dane's cruiser Resolve was drifting nearby, its engines crippled, hull fractured, but even broken it struck, launching its last missiles into the belly of a Vayari carrier. The blast lit the stars, the carrier split in two. Lyra's crew cheered even as smoke filled their lungs, but the battle was not victory. The Council fleets outnumbered them 10-1. Wave after wave pressed closer, surrounding, crushing. Humanity's first defiance was on the edge of collapse. On the bridge of the Aegis, Admiral Marcus Hale stood with his uniform torn and blood on his face. His voice carried through the chaos. "We will not fall while our people still breathe. Hold the line." Dr. Alara Voss struggled at her console, rerouting failing systems. Her hands trembled but never stopped. "If we push the core again, it could tear us apart," she warned. Marcus's eyes burned with fire. "Then let us tear apart the stars with us." The crew shouted, voices rising over the alarms. They were exhausted, wounded, but their spirits blazed. They were no longer just building a legend. They were the legend. Then, the enemy paused. As if the void itself held its breath, the alien fleets opened their channels. A voice echoed deep and venomous. "The Zorath High Commander, humans," it hissed. "You have broken the law of the galaxy. You are reckless children playing with fire. Lay down your ship, or we will erase your world." Silence fell on the bridge. The crew stared at Marcus, waiting, hoping, fearing. Marcus stood tall, his voice steady. "You call us children, but you fear us. You call us reckless, but you could not stop us. You forbade us from building warships, but here we stand. Humanity will not bow. Humanity will not beg. If you want our world, then come and bleed for it." The crew roared their approval. Pride surged through every soul on board. The Council fleets opened fire again, but now something had changed. Humanity did not see themselves as victims anymore. They fought not with desperation, but with fury. Every cannon fired, every missile struck. The void shook with their defiance. Across the galaxy, other species watched. Broadcasts of the battle spread through secret channels. In hidden colonies and shadowed bars, voices whispered, "The humans fight the Council itself. They bleed, but they do not break. Perhaps they are not so different from us." On the bridge of a neutral station, a Terral observer clicked its mandibles in awe. "They are not supposed to survive," it murmured. "And yet, they do." Back in the battle, the Aegis was breaking apart. Entire sections were gone. Crew fought fires with their bare hands. Doctors carried the wounded through smoke-filled halls. Yet still, the ship moved. Still, it struck. Still, it lived. Commander Lyra, coughing in the wreck of her cruiser, opened a channel. Her voice was hoarse but fierce. "Aegis, we stand with you, even if it is the last breath we have." Marcus's voice answered, steady as iron. Then we breathed together. Suddenly the stars shifted, a ripple in the void. New signatures appeared on sensors. At first the crew thought more enemies had come. Then the truth struck. These were not Council ships. These were independent fleets, smugglers, traders, even small alien powers long oppressed. They had come, drawn by humanity's defiance. One voice crackled through. Jeech the comms, an alien captain with fire in his tone. "We do not fight for Earth, we fight for freedom. If humans can stand against the Council, then so can we." The tide shifted. The Council fleets found themselves under attack from unexpected sides. Their arrogance faltered, their unity cracked. Admiral Hale watched as the impossible unfolded. His battered warship was no longer alone. The galaxy itself was beginning to question the Council's chains. Dr. Voss smiled through her tears. "Do you see, Marcus?" she whispered. "It is not just us anymore. We lit the spark." The Aegis surged forward once more, its guns blazing, its people unyielding. Pride carried them where strength failed. Humanity had awakened, and the galaxy was listening. The void was fire. The Aegis drifted like a scarred titan, armor torn, decks broken, smoke pouring from its wounds. Yet its guns still roared, its engines still burned. Humanity's first warship refused to die. Around it, chaos ruled. The Council fleets, once united, now faltered under attacks from unexpected allies. Independent vessels, smugglers, rebel colonies, and forgotten powers struck at their sides. The Council had come to crush humanity, but instead the galaxy itself was beginning to rise. On the bridge of the Aegis, Admiral Marcus Hale stood bleeding, his uniform ripped. His crew looked at him with exhausted eyes, waiting for the final command. He raised his voice, iron even through the chaos. "We are not fighting for Earth alone. We are fighting for every world that dreams of freedom. Today we show the galaxy what it means to be human." Dr. Ilara Voss forced power back into the failing core. Her hands burned, her face blackened with soot, but her voice was strong. "Engines are alive, weapons online. She will hold together if only for one more strike." Marcus gave the order. "Then one more strike is all we need." The Aegis surged forward, straight into the heart of the enemy fleet. Its cannons unleashed a storm of fire, tearing through a Veyari carrier, shredding a Zorath destroyer. The Council ships scattered, their perfect lines broken. Commander Lyra Dane, her cruiser Resolve nearly destroyed, forced her ship alongside the Aegis. Her voice cracked over the comms. "We fight to the end," she declared, "for our people, for our pride, for the spark you lit." Her crew, wounded and weary, cheered as their broken ship still fired into the Council fleet. The Council commanders shouted in fury. Their fleets tried to regroup, but the moment was gone. They were no longer facing a weak species. They were facing a symbol. Humanity's defiance had become a banner, and others had joined beneath it. In hidden colonies, people watched the broadcasts. Aliens whispered in awe. "The humans are not bending. They are standing against the Council itself." In quiet taverns across the stars, voices rose. "If humans can fight, why not us?" Back in the Council chamber, leaders argued with rage and fear. Some demanded total annihilation of Earth. Others hesitated, watching their fleets torn apart by a warship that was never supposed to exist. For the first time in centuries, the Council's power trembled. On the bridge of the Aegis, alarms screamed, hull integrity failing, decks collapsing. Yet no one turned away. Every officer, every soldier, every engineer stayed at their post, united. They were no longer just crew, they were history itself. Marcus looked at the stars burning outside, his voice carried across the ship. "Remember this moment, even if we fall. Remember that humanity chose to rise. They forbade us from building warships, but we built more than metal. We built hope. We built legends." The final strike came. The Aegis launched its last barrage. A storm of missiles and beams ripped through the Council's flagship. The alien commander's voice was silenced in fire. The fleet wavered, its unity shattered, and then silence. The surviving Council. Ships retreated, dragging their broken pride with them. The void was littered with wreckage, human and alien alike, but humanity still stood. Dr. Voss collapsed into her chair, tears mixing with ash. "We did it," she whispered. "Against everything, we did it." Marcus looked at her, his eyes hard yet full of quiet triumph. "No, Ilara. This is only the beginning." Across the galaxy, the story spread. A single warship, built in secret, had defied the greatest powers of the stars. The Council's ban lay in ruins. Humanity had written its name in fire and courage. In the years to come, more ships would rise, more battles would be fought. But the memory of the Aegis and its crew would remain. Not just as a warship, but as a legend. And when future generations spoke of the day humanity claimed its place among the stars, they would remember the words that began it all. They forbade us from building warships, so we built legends.